Now, you mentioned former Real Madrid and Wales star Gareth Bale. He's part of a US-based consortium attempting to take over League One club Plymouth Argyle. Plymouth owner Simon Hallett said last month that a previous agreement to sell a stake in the club had fallen through, but Bale would be joining, other Real Madrid legends and ex-footballers like teammate Luka Modric, who become part of a group that acquired control of Swansea in November in 2024. What do you think to this,
Why not?
mate? Are you going to get involved?
I wouldn't know, mate. No, I can't afford to get involved. But, I don't mind it, mate. I feel that a club like Plymouth Argyle could do with this. You seen what Birmingham City done, what Wrexham have done. I don't mind it. Players love the game, don't they?
Yeah.
Why not be part of a consortium that owns a football club?
Now, do you know what? My take on this is a little bit different. I think you're starting to see now lads see the importance of David Beckham.
Yes.
And understand, just how iconic he is to footballers and to people in this country. I think lads have seen what he's become after football. He's probably a bigger star now than he was as a player. And the ownership model, obviously, into Miami. I think lads are starting to move into those type of areas. You see Trent got involved in the French team. We've got Modric, we've got Bale. Mbappe, excuse me. You're starting to see all these different people move into it. And I think it's huge. I think it's huge for the EFL. I think you're starting to see a market now where American owners are thinking, right, don't really want to go in at the bottom like a Ryan Reynolds, because that's not enough instant success. But if we go in at the champ, can get promoted, get the fan base on, we can do loads of quick fixes, i.e. stadium and stuff like that, and then get into the big boy league 100%. And try and take it on. And I think it's really good. I think personally for me, when you look at Klebs going in there, Tom Cleverley's just gone in there. I think this would be the case, but I hope he's been spoke about beforehand. I'd hate for him to get a job, they take over and then they get rid of him. Do you know what I mean? It'd be really unfair, but you'd like to think they've given him a 3-year deal, so hopefully they can they can move in the right direction. But to give us more on this, let's welcome talkSPORT's EFL expert, former Arsenal midfielder Adrian Clarke. How are you, sir?
Good morning,
Morning,
Adrian.
Troy. Morning, Gabby.
Morning,
I'm
mate.
right. Yeah,
Sorry, went on a little rant there, mate. I know it's all about you, but what are your initial thoughts on all this, bud?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's definitely on trend. I guess for some of these companies that are looking to take over clubs, it's a bit dull on its own, isn't it? It's a US private equity group, but if you suddenly bring Gareth Bale's name into it or Luka Modric, it suddenly jazzes it up, doesn't it? It makes it better for the marketing, it makes it more exciting. And what we've actually seen at other clubs, like Birmingham with Tom Brady, and at Swansea with Modric, is a little bit of minor involvement, a little bit of sporting knowledge being brought in. And of course, Tom Brady has spoken to a number of the players. He's had a little bit of input on sort of what
The nutrition
how they should
and
be
stuff
going
like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly, nutrition and stuff like that. I did read that Luka Modric had phoned up Harry Darling at Swansea to try and persuade him to stay. Now, how much Luka Modric knows about Harry Darling, I'm not quite sure, but that's quite a powerful weapon, isn't it, to have up your sleeve? So I get it, I do. I just think that Gareth Bale is the surprise, because Gareth Bale, and I don't mean this horribly, but during the back end of his playing career at Real Madrid, he wasn't maybe the most into it, was he, of any player? He
was more interested in golf, wasn't he? Let's be fair.
He likes his golf more than his football. Is he that passionate about football? Is he that passionate?
Probably where he done the deal, Adrian. He probably done the deal on the back nine.
He probably did.
Adrian, we talk about Bale and maybe Modric as well. Do you think financially they're putting their own money into it as well?
Quite possibly. There might be a little bit in there, but they're not going to be majority shareholders, are they? I think you need a fair bit of wedge for that. But although Gareth Bale could probably afford it, but
he's got a fair wedge.
He's probably too smart to put a whole stack of his own money into a football club, especially in the EFL where you got to work a little bit harder to get your profits. But look, fair play to any football if they want to do this, if they genuinely are passionate about it. If it's just they're being almost paid, or you know, to get involved, and it's a bit of a tokenism, then I think it's a slight problem. I think on the point that Troy made just before I come on, you would like to think that Tom Cleverley's position wouldn't be affected by this. I think it's a really smart appointment, by the way, for Plymouth.
No, I agree.
I liked him at Watford. I thought he was doing a really good job. For me, they did better. Obviously, they tailed off towards the end of the season, but they were doing better than expected. And I think that was a really harsh dismissal. So I'm chuffed for him that he's back in the game. Because I interviewed him a few times when working for talkSPORT, and I liked him. I thought he looked comfortable as a manager.
No, I totally agree. I just want to have a quick word on Cardiff's new boss, Brian Barry Murphy. Obviously got given the job, a 3-year spell, obviously was with Man City's elite development coaching. I've got thoughts on this, Adrian, and we could talk about this for about 2 hours. Cardiff is a bit of a mad place, isn't it, at the moment, in terms of the ownership, in terms of what's going on, because there is talk, obviously, that interference, and he likes to have a say on what's going on. Giving this to a young coach now to take over, while they've been used to being at Man City, I think it's difficult. I think it's a really difficult first job for him.
I mean, it's actually his second job. He was at Rochdale.
Yeah,
he was at Rochdale.
You know what I mean by first job? Proper job where everyone's watching and there's an expectation that you should be getting promoted. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. And he's not the easiest owner. That is for sure. I think a lot of coaches have gone in there and struggled, and I think part of the issue for Cardiff has been style of play for a number of years. They have not played good football under a series of managers. Omar Ritza actually tried to implement a slightly better brand of football, as did his predecessor. And obviously, look what happened to them. They've ended up going down. I've been down there a few times in the last few seasons, and the atmosphere is very
There isn't one.
No, it really isn't. It's half empty. I played at the old Ninian Park, and it was ferocious, and it was a little bit of a scary place to go, and you sense the passion of the fans. And now there's just apathy. No one really cares. So what they want is to drum up a bit of interest. And I think what with Brian Barry Murphy, he's been linked with a lot of jobs in recent years because he's looked after the City youngsters. He's helped to bring a number of really good players through at the Etihad. They want him to come in, use his contacts book, bring in some real quality players on loan, no doubt, and play a brand of exciting football that gets the fans going. And it could work. It could work, but
I wish him all the best.
It's not going to be an easy job for him.
I genuinely wish him all the best. I just think Cardiff need to make a decision. It's a massive club, and what they got to do. And really, really quickly before I get to the break, Middlesbrough, who we hearing links of. Rob going in there as well, aren't we? So what do you think in terms of Middlesbrough? Who's going to be in next? Gary O'Neill?
Yeah, there's a number of names being linked, aren't there? I thought Steve Cooper was going to get the Middlesbrough job initially. Rob Edwards is definitely a name that I think would fit. I think he's a good guy, a proven manager that could work well at Borough. So that's a good job for someone, no doubt about that. There's also, of course, a possible vacancy at Sheffield United. I mean, Chris Wilder's he's reportedly in dispute with the owners. He wants to sort of recruit in his own way. But they've got an interesting sort of AI-based model. So they've got a group of people looking into the data side of it and taking players to Chris Wilder and saying, this is who we think you should buy. And I don't think he likes it.
It's got to run side by side, though, right? You could have stats, you could have data, you could have AI, but you do need the eye test. You do need that human element of, is this person any good for the dressing room? I think whoever goes in after Chris Wilder is onto a loser.
Oh, yeah. They're not going to do a lot better than Chris Wilder. He didn't do much wrong last year. Yeah, he had a few blow-ups towards the end of the campaign. The second half of the playoff final, you could look at him and say, did he react quickly enough? Yeah. But he's a top manager, and I think if he stays, they've got a superb chance of coming straight back up. But if they make the change, it's a risk. The one name that we're hearing about for a possible vacancy at Sheffield United is Gary O'Neill. He's been heavily linked with that. So watch this space. It's interesting summer, I think, or certainly an interesting few weeks at Bramall Lane.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.